Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Join me every week. I release new episodes every Tuesday. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 97. 97! We're 3 episodes away from 100. And I know that probably isn't a big deal for you, but in the podcast world, that means that I've done 100 episodes, so that's a pretty big deal for me. But thank you for listening. My name is Stephanie. I am the medium in the middle, and I'm excited to talk to you about today's topic, which is all about grounding. And this is funny because I love grounding. It's one of my favorite things. I'm sometimes told I'm too grounded, but I've never done a podcast episode on it. So it's really interesting that I have a lot to say, I have a lot to share, and I think this will be very helpful for anyone who has trouble grounding or finding that balance. So before we jump into all that fun stuff that I have to share, I have announcements for you. Announcement is that there is Reiki Level 2 in October. There are 2 dates in October, so if you are one of my Reiki Level 1 students looking to expand, if you want to become a Reiki practitioner, if you want to learn how to do distance Reiki, learn how to clear a room, how to clear items, how to do a full session on someone else, if just continuing your Reiki journey is calling your name, join a Level 2. There are 2 in October. And I know a lot of you are waiting for Level 1. I do have a wait list for the next Level 1. It will be in November. So if you want to join the wait list, you can email me. And that is my only announcement. I am recording from the new Medium in the Middle HQ, and it is still a little bit of a hot mess up in here. Not everything is organized. I need a few furniture pieces. I don't have a couch. I don't have a bed. I'm sleeping on a blow-up mattress right now. I'm sure we all know the struggles, but through this experience is what is bringing you today's episode. And I also want to share this because I feel like I need to share a little bit more about the struggles that I experience in life, because I think people assume that because I'm an energy worker, because I kind of work in this area, that maybe I don't experience this, or it's easier for me, or I just have it so down pat that these things don't move or shake me, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. So I really want to share my experience with you because I think it'll shed a lot of light that you are not alone in having these emotions, and also we all go through it. So I do want to pull a card. I was called to pull 2 cards today. So my cards are unpacked. They're here. But I'm still using the OG. I'm still using the Colette Baron Reed Enchanted Map Deck. I just really like this deck. And you know what? I think it's the colors. And I also think it's because it's like a grounding deck for me, which is interesting that this episode is about grounding. So the first card that I pulled is card number 15. One Ring Circus, and I've never pulled this card before. And I still think it's so interesting when I get cards that I haven't pulled before, because I've had this deck for a few years and I use it quite often. So it's just also very interesting that like you either see the same cards often or you get the same messages often. So whenever I pull a new card, I was like, ooh, a new one. So card 15, you are capable and competent. Independence is key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent, capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Ooh, geez. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Ooh, very interesting, and especially something that comes to mind with this card is when I was moving. You guys know I just moved into a new place. I've joined home ownership, and my dad came for a week to help me do all the dad things. We had to paint, we had to fix things, we had to change locks, we had to fix windows, and something that he was like trying to show me some things is like, you don't need to ask anybody for help for these things. Like, you can learn how to do it. Like, you have to know these things now that you're a homeowner. And it's like exciting but scary because it's like, oh, I do have to know these things now as a homeowner. And even just this morning, I locked myself out of my house. And of course, what's on my to-do list? Give extra set of keys to friend for when you lock yourself out of the house. Haven't done it yet. Just cost me $100 this morning and waiting outside for 3 hours with Archie in my robe. A hilarious sight to see. And I, of course, called my dad when I got back inside and access to my phone. And I said, you're going to have a good laugh at this. I locked myself out today, and he was like, welcome to home ownership. And I said that exact same thing to myself while I was sitting outside, thanking the universe that I live in such a beautiful area. And it was like early, but it was at least beautiful, and the mountains, and the weather was good, and I was warm because I was in my robe, just walking around Banff in my robe. So I learned my lesson. So this card is interesting. It kind of hits on that and what I'm going through. Okay, so then the second card that I pulled is card number 30, making a choice. Again, I don't think I've pulled this card before. 2 new cards today. Okay. You're required to come to a decision now. You're faced with a dilemma or a fork in the road and must make a conscious choice regarding the next right action. Whatever that choice is, you must take responsibility for it, yet you needn't be afraid. You may not have all the answers right now because the way ahead can't be known until you've embarked and traveled a few steps. Trust your intuition. Ask for a sign from spirit and you will be led to the right path. If you remain conscious and aware, your choice will be the right one at this time. Life is always about learning. Success lies in choosing consciously, guided by intuition and spirit. Ooh. Okay, 2 cards today. I hope one or both resonated with you. Maybe it was something you need to hear. Card 15, One Ring Circus, and card 30, Making a Choice. Again, the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map deck. I'm not sponsored by her or anything like that. I just love this deck. I received it for my Reiki Masters training as a little gift. And I've always just really resonated with the messages, the imageries. I really enjoy using this deck. So if you want to see the cards, you can always follow me on Instagram at Medium in the Middle or on Facebook. I post them every Tuesday. So that is the card pull for this week. Let's get into the topic of conversation. So I want to talk about grounding this week, and I also want to loop it into the root chakra. So I talk about the chakras a lot in my Reiki trainings, and I want to start to bring some of that conversation to the podcast because chakras are important. Energy centers are important. Knowing how your energy moves, what it needs, what's off, what's on, what's feeling balanced, imbalanced, it's all part of your energy body and it's all part of your awareness. And I think this is a very important topic to talk about. So I want to start today with grounding and the root chakra. And this has come up because, like I said, I just moved. So for 2 weeks, I had 2 places and we were doing renovations the first week, and then I ended up getting a dog podcast to come because that was a whole story as well. But it was pretty unexpected with the dog and kind of smack in the middle of not the greatest timing, but it seems to me that all dogs come at not the greatest timing, but when you find the one, it's the one. So then after that, my mom was here for a week, and it was like moving and cleaning and setting up and decluttering and taking things out to be donated, and then seeing what I'm keeping, what I'm not keeping, what am I moving, how am I unpacking, how am I organizing. And I had 2 weeks off work, but I felt like my brain was running a mile a minute. Long days working, very little sleep, new routines, new house, just painting the picture of the chaos that has been my life for the past few weeks. Because this is all to say, I was feeling not myself. My energy was off. My sleep was off. My food intake was off. My water intake was off. I was not being grounded. I was not feeling grounded at all. I was spacey. I could barely hold conversations. And it just brought to my attention a very important subject in that we need to be so mindful of this. And I'm usually very good at being grounded. I'm usually very good at clearing my clients, disconnecting, grounding myself for trainings, knowing what I need, and being able to do that. If I need a walk, I'm able to go for a walk. If I need water, I'm able to do that. If I need sleep, I'm able to achieve that. But in this case, it was like I was pulling every rope to its last string, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have any of my tools, and I'm also not using them. So it really brought up to me how important grounding was, and it also reminded me that I wanted to talk about this on the podcast because these are the things that affect our root chakras. So your root, I like to describe it when I talk about it in my Reiki courses as your tree trunk. So I want you to imagine your tree trunk is connected down into the earth. And this tree trunk roots you down into the earth. So if you are moving, what is your tree trunk doing? It is being lifted up and transplanted somewhere else. Whenever you have a big change, your tree trunk is moving. So this is why things feel uneasy. This is why sometimes, when you're traveling or when you're in between or when things are up in the air, you feel kind of, your energy doesn't feel stable or grounding or like it can release, almost like it's like that feeling in your chest, because when you're not grounded, energy stays in your body and it makes you feel overwhelmed. It's sitting in those upper chakras and not being able to move down through your tree trunk. And this is exactly how I was feeling, and I know ways to fix that, but it was very difficult to kind of utilize those tools that I know I have when I was doing such a big life change, a big move, even though it was only 2 blocks away, a new dog, visitors, people in my space, not knowing where anything was. I still am not fully unpacked. I still can't find half my shoes, but that's beside the point. The point is we need to be very aware of our root chakra and grounding and kind of what we need in those areas. So if you were to look up the definition of grounding, it is also referred to as earthing, and it refers to contact with the earth's surface. You can walk barefoot, you can sit, you can do any activities that ground your energy. So this relies on connecting with the earth. So this is why I really like to use the tree trunk example, because if your tree trunk is being moved, if your tree trunk is having something occur to it, if there's something going on in your life where you're not feeling stable, it is all going to affect how you are connected to the earth. So is your tree trunk, does it have long roots down? Does it feel like it's just sitting on the earth? Does your tree trunk maybe feel like it's floating above earth? All of these things will affect your energy and how you feel. So it's really, really good to have a grounding practice. And you can use this practice when you are feeling not grounded, when your tree trunk is on the move, when you have something going on in your life that you feel you need extra grounding. So for me, how I ground is I love walking outside. I am very lucky enough to live by running water. So I like to go walk by the river, or there's waterfalls by my house that I like to go listen to. Well, I use waterfalls very openly. There is Bow Falls, but it's rushing water. I love to hold sticks, pine cones, touch grass, put my feet in the grass, shower, anything connecting me to the earth. So water or anything literally with Mother Nature, going for a hike, touching dirt, putting your feet in grass, carrying a pine cone. I love my rain stick. All of these things reconnect me back down and remind my tree trunk it has to be on the floor. So this is really important, and finding a grounding practice. I like to do it every day because I work in energy and I need to ground and release every day. But if you can find a grounding practice, then this can be very beneficial to your own energy and maintaining what you need, what you don't need, knowing what you need and what you don't need. I know when my clients come in, I always say, like, what's your grounding practice? And sometimes people have it down pat and they can rattle off to me what they do. Some people's response is, what's a grounding practice? So if you don't have a grounding practice, I would highly recommend you start to just add some tools into your belt of things that can do to help you feel more stable. So when you're feeling grounded, you'll feel stable, you'll feel relaxed, you'll feel connected down to the earth, you'll be very present. So something that I definitely notice when I'm not grounded is it's like my mind is in the sky. I always like to describe the opposite of being grounded is a balloon on a string. And I always say, is your string tied to something, or is your balloon floating away and just going wherever it wants to go? So feeling in that kind of balloon sense, my mind goes up, which makes it very hard to hold conversations, remember what we were talking about, be present, be mindful, have conscious thoughts, and like kind of be aware of what's going on. And I think we can all kind of connect with this zombie-like feeling, kind of walking around where your eyes are open, but you don't really know what else is back there. So this is very interesting, and I wanted to bring this to your attention because I want you all to have a grounding practice, especially as we move into fall. Things are going to start to settle back into a routine. I feel like the energy has been very different, very interesting. I'm going to have Court on the podcast just to explain what's been going on because I've been feeling off. I know a lot of other people are feeling off, tired, lethargic, weird. Like weird is the only really word that I can resonate with here. And having a grounding practice will support you in these feelings and emotions as we move through all these different things, but especially as we move into fall and we're moving back into routine. Kids are going back to school. I feel like things are settling. Summer's over. I hate to say it, but we're going back into kind of worker mode. We're going back into staying inside a little bit more. It's getting colder. I know in Banff it is, maybe not where you are, but all of these things will help us ground. So the fall is a beautiful time to kind of lay those roots, lay those practices, and connect. So I really wanted to talk about grounding this week, and after taking another week off because life was chaotic, I was just thinking this is what I need to talk about this week because I know I'm going through it, and I always thought I was good at grounding, but these last 2 weeks I have not been, and I've noticed a difference in every aspect of my body. I finally made it to a Reiki appointment 2 days ago, and I swear I feel like a new person. Just the support from someone else doing the work for me and being able to ground and release and cut cords and, bring me back to this reality almost of like, okay, we're settled now. This is the new life that we're working with. These are new things that we're moving with. And it was really beautiful. So I feel like I'm back in a space where I can talk about this because a week ago it would have been probably a lot of because my head was up in the clouds floating away into La La Land. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope this kind of encourages you to find your own grounding practice. And I always say, find what works for you. So I know I joke, everybody knows I take long showers, I wash my hair, I eat chips, I go for a walk, I have my rain stick, all of these things. But that doesn't mean those are, number one, going to work for you, or number two, you might not have to do all of them. Sometimes I don't do all of them. And number three, it took me a while to figure out what works for me. It took me a while to be like, oh, okay, I need a shower and hand washing and a walk and the rain stick. Or, oh, I need to eat chips after my attunements to bring me back down to earth. And, oh, I need to, whatever it may be. So you can do this through food, through water, any way you want to connect with the earth, but using that root chakra, using your tree trunk to pull you back down. There's also certain music you can listen to that's very grounding. There's tunes, there's smells, there's crystals. I mean, we can pull in all the stops here, but find something simple is what I really recommend because you need to ground often and you're going to be doing this often. So make it easy on yourself, That's why I love showers and water and the earth and walks. Those are easy things that we can incorporate into our day. Every day when I shower, I always have an intention of washing off anything that's not mine, separating myself from any emotions that are not mine, disconnecting from my clients. These are things that we're already doing, but we're just adding an intention. So that is what I have for you for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening. If you are an iTunes user, I would love and appreciate a rating and a review. It really helps me out in the podcast world. If you could leave 5 stars and a nice little note, it's always wonderful and much appreciated. if you would like to book an appointment with me, I offer distance Reiki, Akashic Records, and PSYCH-K. All of those appointments are fully virtual. They are available worldwide, no matter where you are. And I also offer in-person Reiki and PSYCH-K. So if you do want to come see me in person, you can click Book in Banff on my website. All of the links will be down below. The links to book a Reiki course will be down below. A book an appointment with me will be down below if you are interested. But thank you very much for listening, Midlers. It's always nice to be back in the groove of Tuesdays. Moving forward, every Tuesday there will be an episode. And I am excited to continue to share my journey and my learnings and my experience to hopefully help or inspire you through your journey and experience and development. We are all going through it. Just a reminder that your spiritual development is lifelong. There is no end or finish line in this work. So just a loving reminder, you are exactly where you need to be. That's it from me. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you all in your ears next Tuesday with a brand new episode. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye.